Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Dr. Gill Barham, the Miracle Molecule host from Radio Works World. And this morning, in my world, I am joined by, this evening, in her world, the wonderful Michelle Reinhardt. Good evening to you.
Thanks, Jill. Hi, everybody. It's great to be here.
It's about 8 o'clock where you are, isn't it?
It is.
Okay,
8 p.m. on Monday.
On Monday, yeah. So we're 11 o'clock on Monday morning. Okay, I'm not very good at time zones, so thank you very much for fitting it in so that we could do this, because I know it's not easy. So Michelle, I've been part of one of your groups and been following you for, I don't know, quite a few years probably now, doing a bit of stalking. But in case we have some people in the world that don't know who you are and what you do, would you mind sharing with us, please, what your business is all about, what you're passionate about?
I'd be honoured to. Thank you for asking. So I support entrepreneurs tap into their pure essence. I really love to help them get in behind the lies that keep them small, so they can become all that they came here to be. So we can ditch all of the new bright, shiny objects and going out there and trying to mirror yourself against those that have come before you, and find that little bit of uniqueness that is as unique as an individual's fingerprint, that soul print. And that's what I help people to achieve. And it's all about activating abundance and prosperity with people as well, because it's our birthright. We shouldn't have to struggle, and it shouldn't be hard. So I host a group online, Entrepreneurs Globally Unite, and I also host a podcast of the same title, and I just absolutely love it. I also work within a system that is an alternative economy, which is really very, very exciting, and that's a sacred economy. So it's a new way for us moving forward in this beautiful world of ours. So perfect. I think that just about sums me up.
I think it does. I think you've done that extraordinarily well. Thank you very much. Okay, now just to say that Michelle has no idea about the rest of the call. Do you? Don't have any idea what I'm going to ask you today, do you?
No, I don't.
She's looking a bit scared. Let's just, your listeners, our watchers, I should say, about what this show's about. So, conversations. Based on a show which is on the BBC here in the UK called Desert Island. About over 40 years old, this show. They bring people from all areas of life, and they, through a series of music choices, they ask them questions based around those choices at key specific points in their lives. And they send them off onto a virtual desert island, give them some books and ask them to choose a book and so on. And what this program does is it gives you, the listener, just a bit of an insight into that personality, that scientist or the rock star or the sports personality or the entrepreneur, whatever it is. And I really like it because, I don't know about you, Michelle, but we tend to, without being horrible, we tend to make our decisions about people based on what we know about them, the way that they might appear to us. And what I wanted to do was to create a platform with people of significance, people who are making a difference in the world, such as yourself, and to create a similar platform where we can just have a little bit of a glimpse behind, if you like, not that you're any different, but just given a bit of a snapshot for people on the basis that if people know, love and trust you, that they're more likely to work with you. Would you agree?
Oh, 100%.
Good. So basically, will be by the end of the series, there'll be 52 people that will have been interviewed for this series. So one for every day of the week.
Nice.
And all of those people have been asked the same questions. So it gives a little bit of a snapshot into everybody's sort of life, really. And we're going to produce a book. There's a book commissioned for it called Your Heart Matters, Light-Hearted Conversations with People of Significance. And so your entry will be as an author in one of those, in a couple of pages in that book. So are you ready? We're going to get going on our light-hearted conversation.
Let's go.
Okay. Now, the idea is that I don't really like people to watch the other shows because these answers are coming straight from the heart, basically. So my first question is really based around a scenario. So, Michelle, if you can imagine you're in a nice hotel somewhere in the world. You've gone into the lobby, you've gone into the elevator, or the lift, as we call it in the UK, and you're going up to the top floor to have a very nice lunch. And one other person gets in the lift with you, and as you go up, you get stuck between floors 6 and 7. Now, there's some good news and some bad news. The bad news is that the engineers ring you and say, sorry, you're going to be in there for 2 or 3 hours. But there's 2 bits of good news. One is that you have windows, so you're not going to get claustrophobic.
Thank goodness for that.
And the second bit of good news is that you get to choose who that other person was that got in the lift with you. So of all the people in the world, dead or alive, who would you choose to spend 2 or 3 hours with in a lift that you could answer or ask all the questions that you've ever wanted to ask?
Wow. I'm going to say Bob Proctor.
Mm-hmm. Because
he led my spiritual journey, which led me into my entrepreneurial journey.
Mm-hmm. So he was really one of the first people, really, wasn't he, who kind of made, I suppose, the first inroads into self-help and transformation and spirituality and linked all those things together, am I right?
Yeah, very much so. What I liked about his teaching was that he took personal development into spiritual development. Mm. And that's where I feel the transformation really happens with people.
Mm. And increasingly in the work that I do, although it's about health, is of course health is very linked to, mental health or spiritual health or emotional health, whatever you want to call it. And the more I work on my business, actually, what I've realized is that the work really is about working on myself. So the more I work on myself, would you agree, the more I'm able to help other people. Yeah. And that was a bit of a light bulb moment. I've had mentors and people that have kind of, it's very much a journey, isn't it? And that information comes to you at the right time when you're ready to take that information in, because sometimes it can be a bit shocking, what you think was the law of stuff, all of a sudden turns on its head, and it's being able and open and allowing that sort of thing to come into your life and accepting it. And I'm guessing that that's a lot of the work that you do.
That's exactly what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So now, Mr. Proctor and you, he was going to lunch too. So you're both hungry. So if I was to magic you up in your lift, a lovely table with a nice tablecloth and lovely fine china and cutlery and glassware, what food and drink would you choose to share with Bob Proctor in your 2 or 3 hours conversation?
Oh, it would be the most glorious vegan, gluten-free spread available.
Okay. And particularly, what's your favourite food?
Oh, wow. I just love vegetables. And favourite food? So many. I love food.
I like people that like food.
I love food. I love it. Oh, I love your your sun-dried tomatoes and your olive. Well, I'm not a big fan of olives, to be honest, but that sort of I love lots of different things in front of me that I can just pick out. I love entertaining with food, that you just eat and talk and converse, and it's just that type. Food's a central, pivotal part of our world, isn't it? It's beautiful to be able to share that.
Yeah, absolutely. What would you drink?
Oh, look, I'd have to say, if it was Bob Proctor, I'd be looking for a really nice red.
Australian red, are we guessing?
Oh, we've got some pretty nice wines here, that's for sure.
Okay, all right, that's fabulous. Okay, well, thank you for sharing that for us. Just to tell you that nobody's chosen Bob Proctor yet,
There we
which
go.
I'm slightly surprised at, to be honest, with some of the people that I've spoken to. Okay, thank you for sharing. So I'm going to take the Michelle back to the 18-year-old you now. So would you share with us what was happening for you at 18? Well, where were you living? What were you doing at 18?
At 18 years of age, I was living in the city. I'd moved from the country town I grew up in. I was working a desk job, which I didn't like at all, but it supported my passion, which was sport. I was in the Victorian netball team, and I was a runner, and I say was because that is past tense. So, yeah, I loved my sport. I lived and breathed, and Melbourne is a sporting capital, so I was absolutely in the right place. I was also working as a masseur to one of the really high football clubs here as well. So I was a sports masseuse as well. So yeah, so doing lots of different things, yeah, but all surrounded around sport.
Yeah, fabulous. And can you remember the music that you were listening to then, Michelle?
Oh my gosh. It was definitely pop.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely pop. I mean, I just anything that was on the radio that was Dire Straits. I love Dire Straits. Steve Winwood. I love jazz and blues. So yeah, I'm very varied.
Yeah, cool. All right, thank you very much. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you to the 35-year-old Michelle. So what had happened and where were you at 35? What was life like then?
Oh, I had travelled extensively. I had since become lots of different things, all in the healing arena.
Okay.
And I was with my now husband, and we were very, very soon to become parents.
Aha! For the first time?
Yes.
That's exciting. And when you said in the healing arena, so did you carry on your masseur role? What were you doing then?
Well, I was definitely massaging still, and I had gone well and truly into essential oils. They are a great passion of mine.
Mm-hmm.
I was. Do you really want me to list them? There's so many. Sound therapy, intuitive healing, Swedish relaxation. I'm a Reiki master. Reflexologist. I do Bowen technique as well. So there's lots and lots.
Yeah.
Yeah, I work with tuning forks, and it's all intuitive.
Yeah.
At that stage, I was very much into it. The decade after that was a completely different story, but you might get to that, so I won't spoil it. I won't be the spoiler.
Well, I'm not going to get to that because we just had a snapshot of 35. But if people want to know anything about you after that, because I think, it would be really interesting to see the journey after that, then presumably they can connect with you and they can see your story on Facebook and on your website, which I'm going to put up as well. But you can just give us a little bit of a taster as to what happened over that time. And because I know I work with a lot of people that are healers and intuitive healers, and I also know that there seems to be a shelf life, if you like, that it's something that you can't continue, you can't keep up that energy, or some people find that they can't keep up that energy, or it's not even the interest in it. So maybe you could explain to us a little bit about what happened for you.
Well, I became fully absorbed in being a mum, and I literally let everything else go.
Yeah.
I let all my healing modalities and everything go, and I absolutely fell into the biggest, darkest, deepest hole that one could ever fall into. We experienced a massive breakdown, really, in our lives. We went through a business collapse, and my mum was living with us. She had cancer. My husband had cancer. Everything just went to, I don't know if I can say it, I won't. And
we are live on Facebook.
as things always turn out at the end, a blessing.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like it at the time, that's for sure. But the darkest, deepest times in my life became my greatest teachers.
Yeah. And all of the people that I speak to, and certainly, you know, from my point of view, I've just spoken to Skip, for example. So if anybody's listening, they need to go and listen to Skip's episode, because, you know, he broke his back at 18 or 19. And, you know, that is exactly the same thing for him, is that was his biggest teaching, and his recovery from breaking his back and what he went on to do thereafter. But I think, as he said, you know, those things come along at the right time. You don't think it's the right thing at the right time, but those things are the things that we learn from. And you wouldn't be doing what you're doing now if it wasn't for those dark times, would you?
I wouldn't know how to lead people out of there had I not done it for myself.
No. It's very, very true. Okay, so thank you very much. Thank you very much for your honesty and for sharing that with us. So now we've got our quick fire round, Michelle. Okay, so this is a kind of generally an either or scenario here. So are you a TV or a radio girl?
Neither.
Okay, that's fine. Are you? Do you prefer fiction or non-fiction?
Fiction.
Are you the oldest, middle, or youngest child?
Youngest.
Ah, you're my second youngest today. How lovely. I haven't interviewed many youngest children. Most of the people I've interviewed are oldest. Isn't it interesting?
Wow. You know, we're usually pretty broken. Or, you know, all of our siblings just knocked us down.
Yeah. Yeah, you're spoiled, you're this, yeah. And at school, say after 11, were you the goody two-shoes? Were you under the radar? Were you a bit of a handful, or were you the class clown?
Goody two-shoes.
Oh, I wouldn't have expected anything other than that, Michelle. Okay.
I had my moments.
Oh, did you? My eldest daughter, I think it's very difficult being an oldest child. And the first time she did something kind of naughty at school, because both my husband and I are youngest children, the first time she did something naughty and got into trouble, our reaction was, oh, thank God for that. Not
quite what she was expecting.
No, not what she expected at all. Okay, and what would you say nowadays is your best habit?
Meditation.
And your worst habit?
Alcohol.
Okay, and what do you do to relax, assuming it's not just the alcohol?
No. I am a walker. I love nature. So, I hightail it up the mountain.
Are you still living in Melbourne now? Where do you live now?
Yes.
Yeah, you're still in
Melbourne.
Yes, I'm in Melbourne. Okay. And it's hilly and beautiful, presumably. I've never been to Australia, so I don't know.
Where I am, it is. Yeah. Okay. I'm literally 10 minutes from the base of the Dandenong Mountains. So they're not really mountains, they're just big hills compared to other mountains in the world. Yeah. But yeah, I love it. It's just very normal for me to be walking with wallabies and kookaburras and deer. It's beautiful.
Brilliant. Okay. And have you ever had, or do you have, any nicknames?
No. Yes.
Do you know how many people say no, and then immediately go, oh, wait a minute, yes, I do. Are you willing to share with us what your nickname was?
Well, it was only a childhood one. Most people that I'm really close with call me Shell as opposed to Michelle.
Yeah, okay.
But my maiden name was Werner, so we were Worm was what the kids at school used to call. And my oldest brother was Worm, and I was Little Worm. So yeah. So that could stay. Yeah, I really would rather leave that one. I don't mind, actually. I really don't have a problem with what people call me or say or think or anything anymore. I'm past that.
Yeah, absolutely. And you may not know this, but although my passion has been health for many years, and particularly natural health solutions now, before I trained as a nurse many years ago, I did a music degree and did singing, and I still sing now. So if I was on stage and I was to drag you up with me, what would you choose as your karaoke song?
Oh, it would have to be ABBA's Mamma Mia.
Ah, that's fabulous. That'd be great. We could sing that together. I'd be more than happy to sing that. That'd be fine.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah, that'd be really fun. All right. So thank you very much. So I've got another scenario for you now. So a couple of years ago, my husband and I traveled to America. We went to a park, and we were away for a month. We had a travel consultant who organised the flights and the hotels. So we just needed to sort of pitch up, and it was great. We toured 8 states. We did 3,300 miles, and we were together for 24 hours a day for the month, apart from one day when my husband floated off into the desert on a Harley Davidson. And we didn't have a crossword the whole time that we were away. So I'd like to know, if I organised a nice holiday for you and took all the pressure and strains out of it, who would you take away on holiday that you could spend a month with without a crossword?
I think I'll just go alone.
I haven't had that reaction yet. Okay, we're not going to go any further because I have to put that in the book. Fantastic. Oh, okay. So, so what's happening? Oh, that's brilliant. So what's happening is all of the transcripts from the 52 people are going into a book called Your Heart Matters, Light-Hearted Conversations with People of Significance. And this book is being launched in London in November, and to which you will be invited, of course. And next October, it will be going around the world in 80 days on the Jules Verne tour. Have you read the Jules Verne book, Around the World in 80 Days? Yeah.
Yes.
So it starts in London next October the 2nd, and then it goes to Egypt, Bombay, Calcutta, Hong Kong, Shanghai, Yokohama, San Francisco, New York, Bordeaux, and Cobbin Island, and back to England in December. So, and all of those 52 transcripts are going to go into that book. So everybody's going to be a co-author. But what I wanted to do as well, because of my music interest, is I also wanted to create a playlist to accompany that book. So what I'm asking all of my guests to do is to choose one song that you would like to go onto my playlist that makes you feel light-hearted.
Okay.
So what would you choose?
I would choose Meghan Trainor's All About the Bass.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I love that song. Love it. It just makes me want to dance wherever I am.
What a great choice.
Really, really, really peeves off my daughters, but...
That's our job. I do stand and dance in supermarkets. Do you do this? Do you stand and dance to music in supermarkets? I do it. I just can't help it. My mum, my daughter, particularly my younger daughter.
You're right, though. It is our job. It's our right. They'll have their turn.
Yeah.
That would be the song. I love that song.
Oh, that's a great choice. I'm happy to have that on my playlist. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, so now this next question, my last question for you really from my list is really based on what I do now, which is helping women to look after their heart. So I wrote a book called The Heart of a Woman, How to Look After the Heart You Have to Give to the World. And basically, what I want you to share with us, if you wouldn't mind, is how from two aspects, you look after your heart. So the book really is about helping women to look after themselves physically, and because most women that I know put themselves last. And although they might know what they should do, they kind of find it difficult to really get away from all the noise that's out there about, well, what should I eat and what shouldn't I eat, and how do I look after my hormones, and what exercise should I be doing at this stage in my life. So there's the physical heart, but there's also the emotional heart and the spiritual heart of being the feminine women, not trying to be everything to all people, actually relaxing into the various parts of your life and accepting that for now this is how it's got to be and this is what I want it to be, rather than trying to be all things to all people. That's my belief, that we should be concentrating more on that and encouraging our daughters to do that as well. So would you share with us what you do from those two aspects, how you look after your physical and your emotional heart?
I'll start with the physical. I'm a celiac. I have celiac disease, so I look after my body, my diet exceptionally well. I'm very mindful that everything I eat creates a vibrational frequency that makes me who I am. I don't like feeling stodgy and heavy, so I choose lighter and brighter foods, and I obviously mix that up a lot with exercise. And we're all connected, mind, body and soul. We've got to look after the three aspects. Throw one out and we're all out, Yeah. So it's all very, very important. So diet's super important to me and to my family as well. We've got vegetarian in the family. We also have one that's dairy intolerant. So we're challenged a little bit with what we can have, but it's always highly nutritious, organic. I grow my own vegetables, and don't get me wrong, we're not perfect. I mean, far from it. But it's an 80-20 rule, isn't it? Yeah. 80% of the time you do what you need to do. 20% of the time you can muck up and really. Yeah. And if you're going to do that, do it properly. Don't do it half-assed.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the spiritual and emotional heart is my passion. That is, I adore leading people back to their heart, to that spark that's within them, and helping them light it up and turning it into a roaring fire, because I just love to see people shine, and I love to see them loving themselves and their life. So it comes back to that heart. It comes back to falling back in love with yourself. And yeah, you're right, it's hard for women to allow themselves, give themselves the time and the space to do that, but everyone around us benefits when we do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's very easy to think that you're being selfish, and I think this is what I hear from women. They don't necessarily speak those words, but I think anybody that's ever been a mum understands that feeling of, well, I shouldn't be selfish. I should put everybody else first.
It's like the first thing you're told when you get on an aeroplane, to put your own mask on first.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're no good to anybody if we're broken.
No, and that's exactly what I say to people. My signature talk. It doesn't matter whatever your purpose and your passion is, whatever you do to help people in the world, you're no good to anybody dead.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Very, very true.
Yeah. One of my favourite quotes in my book is by the author Catherine Aird, because my mother died at 56, and I was 56 this year.
Wow, that would have been a difficult one.
Yeah, that one. Well, it was good actually, because I made the decision 5 years ago that I was going to be the good example rather than the horrible warning, and that's Catherine Aird's quote. And so it's about taking responsibility, basically. You know, I was in a very similar situation to my mother when she was in her early 50s, and I knew that if I didn't do something about it, that I was going to be in the same place, or potentially in the same place, because I've learned much more actually than that we're not just about genetics. We're only 10% genes, but the 90% of us is actually stuff that we can do something about. But it's about taking responsibility and just changing those habits, isn't it? Day by day, and learning, going on that journey. I know it's a bit of a cliche, I'm going on a journey, but it is just all about that, really.
It is. It fascinates me how many people, yes, they're on a journey, but they have no destination in mind. And it's kind of like jumping in a car and saying to the GPS, take me there, take me. And it's like, where are we going? How can the universe take you where you want to go if you don't even know?
Yeah, absolutely. So people can connect with you. Now, before we finish our show, it's really important that I give you the opportunity to tell us sort of what's coming up for you over the next few months. What have you got planned? I've got a couple of links here where people can connect with you. So tell us what's going on in Michelle world over the next few months.
Wow, thank you. So I am pulling the finishing touches together of a course at the moment, which will be a power of five people only per course, and it is for abundance seekers. So it's self and soul mastery for abundance seekers. So we're diving in really deep. I really want to help people stop giving their power away and learn how to harness their own. And it's powerful. It's just so powerful. I've been writing it, and it's been channeled information, and it's very, very, very special. Sometimes I read it back.
Is that an online course, Michelle, or is that a face-to-face?
No, it'll be a group face-to-face. I'm not going to put this information in front of anyone without support to take them through it. Yeah, so it's so that's coming up. I will be beta testing that within the next 3 weeks. So there will be some that'll be cool. No one can tell us more about what they need than our customers. Hey. So my podcast is the Entrepreneurs Globally Unite podcast. That is on iTunes and Stitcher, and it's also a link on my website, so people can go and learn there. That is for awakening and emerging entrepreneurs. We dive into mindset, energy, business, and all things spiritual. So there's some really amazing people there. We're up to we're in our 40s now, so that's been going along really nicely. I love that, and I can see you love your interviewing too, Jill. It's powerful.
Yeah, it's really easy. I just find this is my happy place, really, I think.
Same. I'm exactly the same. I absolutely love it. So I literally go and pick the guests that I want to learn from. Yeah. and then I put them on the show, which is really, really lovely. So my group, Entrepreneurs Globally Unite, continues to grow. That's up to 5,500 community members now, after only just 2 years in the making. And again, supporting awakening and emerging entrepreneurs. And I'm also, as I mentioned earlier, working very passionately in a sacred economy. So it is a new way forward, and it's a beautiful system, an alternative economy to what we're, shall I say, having to put up with at the moment. We're just carving the way forward with lots of love and lots of light, and people can also connect. If they're interested in that type of thing, connect with me through my website. Just hit the contact page and we can connect. I love collaboration. I love what we can do together.
Yeah. And I without upsetting any men in the world, I think we're much better at collaboration, women. And I think, you know, it's us that are going to really turn this turmoil of our life around, because women, you know, are so much better at it, and together we can make a difference, I believe.
Well, the divine feminine is alive, and she is on fire.
yeah, absolutely. Okay, so thank you very much. I've also put your Facebook page up there, your personal Facebook page. People want to connect with you there, and in the group, I'm in the group Entrepreneurs Globally Unite as well. So thank you very much. I've really enjoyed our light-hearted conversation. I hope you have too.
Thank you for taking me around the world and back down memory lane.
I hope you've enjoyed it.
I've loved it, every moment.
Good. So my new show, when I've done this series, is called The Vitality Show. So that's more about health and happiness and prosperity and abundance and all the rest of it. So I'll get you back onto that show as well. I'll give you an invitation for that. We can get down and dirty and deep into some of the stuff that you teach. That'll be really interesting.
That sounds awesome. I would love to share all about the abundance frequencies and how to activate those.
Yeah, we can definitely do that. So we'll do that in the future. Before Christmas, I'll tie up with you and we'll get a date for that in the diary. No problem at all. Okay, so thank you very much. Thank you very much. I've really enjoyed speaking to you. I hope you have a great rest of the evening, because it is evening there for you. Say goodbye to all our watchers and listeners. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. And we'll speak real soon.
Thanks, Jill.